How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Tazayin, Daf 16 of Masechta Nedarim. Friends, well, Daf 16 is kind of interesting. We continue with like the whole sleeping theme, but we kind of compare and contrast like Nedarim and Shavuos, vows and oaths. Some interesting distinctions there. So, that's kind of cool. All right, here we go. Fine. So says the Mishnah, we're going to start with the Mishnah Daf Tezvav Mud Beis at the bottom. Shvua she'eni yoshen, she'eni medaber, she'eni mahalech oser. Oh. So, if a fellow says, he makes an oath that he's not going to sleep, that he's not going to speak, that he's not going to walk, so then it is oser. So then he's not allowed to do these things. So now we had learned that when it comes to a neder, you can't make a neder, a vow, that, by intangible things like sleep, but an oath would apply. We say that it's also so he's not allowed to sleep. Korban lo ochel lecha, if he says korban that it's like a korban, but lo ochel lecha, that which I don't eat from you. Ha korban shel ochel lecha, or if he says ha korban that I will eat from you, but he says ha korban instead of ha korban or lik korban or kik korban or korban. Lo korban, lo ochelcha, or it's not a korban, that which I don't eat of you. Oh, fine. Mutter, in all those cases, it's mutter. Fine. Says the Gemara and Daf Tazayin Amud Aleph, Mani masnisin Reb Meir he. Our Mishnah must be Reb Meir. Somebody's making noise outside. De'i Reb Yehuda lo shanile korban velo shanile ha korban. Oh, ha or ha korban. So, according to Rav Yehuda, we know Rav Yehuda's opinion, which is that you have to say kik korban, and as long as if you say that it's kik korban, like a korban, so then it's aser. Right? As we saw, Rav Yehuda had said, like Yerushalayim, for example, if you just said Yerushalayim, that's irrelevant. You have to say ki Yerushalayim. So we know already that right. You know, if you say korban, it doesn't work. Ha korban, you have to say kik korban, and otherwise it doesn't work. So I don't need the Mishnah to teach me this. It's a chiddush according to Rav Meir, who says that korban, kik korban, la korban, right, or lik korban. So all of those things are aser. But if he says ha korban, so then it would be mutter. Okay, fine. So we say mani masnisin. Who's the Mishnah? Rav Meir. I'm reading that again. Ti Rav Yehuda lo shani le korban, v'loshani le ha korban, because it's Rav Yehuda, we already know there's no difference between korban and ha korban. It's not going to be a vow. But Ema Seifa, 1 second, how could it be Rav Yehuda? How could it be Rav Meir? If we continue, what do we say? Le korban lo ochel lecha mutter. If he says le korban I will not eat, it is mutter. So v'atnam, but we learn in a Mishnah the korban lo ochel lecha Rav Meir oser. But we learn in a Mishnah, we learned on Daf Yud Aleph Beis that if a fellow says that lekorban lo ochel lecha, Rav Meir says it's aser. Rab Abba says Rab Abba naisik omer lekorban yehei, that Rab Abba says it's as though he says that it's a korban lefichach and therefore lo ochel lecha, and that's why I won't be eating it. So why are we saying over here that it's mutter if we said in Daf Yud Aleph Beis that it's aser? Lo kasha hadomer lekorban hadomer lo lekorban de lo ave korban kamer. So it depends what he says. If he says lekorban lo ochel lecha, then that's what he's saying. Lekorban yehei, that it's a korban and therefore lo ochel lecha, therefore won't eat it. But if he says la korban, that it's not a korban, so he's saying that it is not a korban and therefore it is it's mutter. All right, what do you want me to tell you? Now says the Mishnah, new Mishnah. We're going to learn 3 Mishnahs today. We already learned 1. Now we're learning a second one. Shvue lo ochel lecha. Okay, so a fellow says that I'm making an oath that I won't eat from you. Ha shvue sho ochel lecha. So also he says ha shvue sho ochel lecha. Okay, or lo shvue lo ochel lecha aser. In all of these cases, he's saying that it is right. In all these cases, it's going to be aser. There's an interesting thing that the Ran talks about when he says lo shvua lo ochel lecha. So then we got to do the michlalav atashumehen. You got to do the inference, right? It says if he's saying lo that which I don't eat from you, lo shvua is not a vow. Then that means that which I do eat from you, I am vowing against. Therefore, it's also. And you might say, but I thought this is Reb Meir. Reb Meir doesn't hold michlalav atashumehen. So that is only by Nedarim, but by Shavuos he would say Michlal Avata Shomea Hein. So now says the Gemara. Michlal de Shavuos she'ochel lecha delo achil nomashma. So the Mishnah had said that Hashvuos she'ochel lecha is osir. That if he says Shavuos she'ochel lecha, that I'm making a swear about eating your stuff, he's swearing that he's not going to eat that stuff, right? We're saying it's osir. Michlado Shavuos she'ochel lecha delo achil nomashma means that he's saying that he's not going to eat from you. V'aminu. But we have a kasha. Shavuos shtayim shein arba. That when it comes to Shavuos, they are 2. That can be sort of expanded to 4. What does that mean? She'ochal v'shelo ochal. So the 2 are a Shavua that he will eat, or a Shavua that he won't eat. She'achalti v'shelo achalti, or that I did eat, or that I didn't eat. Now mitika omer shelo ochal, from the fact that we mentioned that I will not eat, she'achalti v'shelo achalti, that I ate, that I didn't eat michlal, she'ochal l'chod de'achil nomashma. Right, if we're saying that, right, Shavuos shtayim shein arba, she'ochal v'shelo ochal, that I will eat and that I won't eat. So that I won't eat means that I won't eat. So what does she'ochal mean? That I will eat. So if we're saying that she'ochal means that I will eat, so then why is our Mishnah saying Hashavua she'ochal lecha is osir? She'ochal lecha means that I will eat, not that I won't eat. So Amar Abaye says, Abaye, she'ochal shtei lishonis mashma. Abaye says that look, she'ochal can really go either way. She'ochal could mean that I will eat. She'ochal can also mean that I won't eat. It depends. If they're pressuring the fellow to eat. Ve'omar achilna, he says, look, I'll eat, leave me alone. Right? I'm sure a bunch of Jews over here at Babylon Talmud can relate. V'su shvuah she'ochal, look, I swear that I'll eat. Leave me alone. The achilna mashma, so clearly he's pleading. He's saying that he's going to eat. Aval omar lo achilna, but if he says, no, I'm not going to eat, v'su amar shvuah she'ochal, and then he says, I'm making an oath regarding my eating, de lo achilna ka'amar. So then in the context that means, she'ochal means that I won't eat. So, she'ochal can really go either way. It could mean that he's swearing that he will eat, it means that he's swearing that he won't eat. Rav Ashi Omar says, Rav Ashi, she'ochal dishvue she'i ochal ka'omar. Rav Ashi says that when the Mishnah says hashvua she'ochal, no, it's hashvua she'i ochal, that I won't eat. Im came pshita, ma'ile meimer. Well, if he's saying she'i ochal, if he's saying that I won't eat, then obviously it's asur. He's saying he's not going to eat it. So I may have thought mekom lishna hu deiskile kamashmalon. I may have thought that when he says de'i ochal, maybe it was just a mistake, like a slip of the tongue, some kind of a mistake, but really he meant she'ochal. So kamashmalon, then no. If he says she'i ochal, it means that he won't eat. Abaye lo amar tam k'Rav Ashi lo katani she'i ochal. Now Abaye, who says that she'ochal can really go either way, depending on the context, so he does not hold like Rav Ashi, who says that no, it's she'i ochal, because the Mishnah doesn't say she'i ochal. It says she'ochal. Rav Ashi nadi min tam da Abaye, and additionally, Rav Ashi, right, it doesn't hold like Abaye, kasaver shelo ochal nami mashma shtei lishonos. Well, says Rav Ashi in response to Abaye, that if you're going to say that she'ochal can really go either way, and it can mean also that she'ochal means that I won't eat. It just depends on the context. Well, then lo ochal should also go either way, and it could also mean that I will eat. And therefore, why is that left out of the Mishnah? For example, if they were pressuring him to eat, V'amar lo achilna, and he says, look, you think I'm not going to eat? V'amar nami shvuah. And then he swears about it. He makes an oath about it. Bein she'ochal, bein shelo ochal, whether the oath is that he will eat, or whether the oath is that he won't eat, Hadein achilna mashma, the implication is that he will eat. Meaning, so even if the oath is that I won't eat, it's like rhetorical. Will I not eat? And therefore, it's implying that he will eat. De Amar, right? That's what he's saying, that he will eat. Vikal terutza nami, and you can also, of course, say lishna shvua shelo ochal shvua de lo achilna kamer. And obviously, of course, shelo ochal can mean that he's planning not to eat it. So it can go, shelo ochal can also then go either way depending on context. Ela tana poska she'ochal de achilna mashma v'shelo ochal lo ochal mashma. Rather, from the fact that the Mishnah doesn't mention anything about the two ways of understanding shelo ochal, so clearly the Mishnah, when it says she'ochal, it means that I will eat. When it says shelo ochal, it means that I will not eat. So then how do you understand the Mishnah when it says hashvua she'ochal lecha aser? It means she'i ochal lecha, that I won't eat from you, and that is why it is aser. Okay, fine. Now, says the Mishnah, Zeh chomer b'shvuas mi b'nedarim. So we get to the third Mishnah of the day, that this is a stringency by oaths, that it makes it more, the oaths more stringent than vows. V'chomer b'nedarim mi b'shvuas, and there's also stringencies by vows more so than by oaths. Ketzad, in what ways are vows more stringent than oaths? Omar konam sukkeh sha'ani oseh. If he says that I'm making a vow against the sukkah, lulav shani notel, or a vow against the lulav, tefillin shani maniach, or a vow against putting on tefillin, b'nedarim aser, b'shvuas mutter. So by a neder, so the vow would be valid, but by shvuas mutter, but by an oath, it would be invalid. Sheinish boyin lavar ala mitzvahs, because you cannot make an oath to violate a mitzvah. Okay. So now, frag the Gemara. Chomer michlal de nederu ve'amuter katoni. Oh, so the Gemara asked the kash, because the Mishnah had started by saying ze chomer b'shvuas mi b'nedarim. In this way, shvuas oaths are more stringent than vows. Now, what was immediately prior to this Mishnah? Oh no, I think that my light is about to die, and when my light dies, it kind of drives me nuts. So let me preemptively turn it off, and hopefully psychologically I'll be able to adjust. Okay, hopefully I'm psychologically adjusting. And so when it says, right, okay, so when it says that this is more stringent, this is a stringency of vows over, of oaths over vows. So we want to assume, the Gemara wants to assume that it's referring to what was going immediately prior to that. What was immediately prior to that? Well, we had said at the end of two Mishnahs prior, and then the previous Mishnah, it started with korban lo ochel lecha, ha korban she ochel lecha, lo korban lo ochel lecha. We said mutter by vows, and yet when it comes to shvuas, shvua lo ochel lecha, ha shvua she ochel lecha, lo shvua lo ochel lecha aser. So we're saying, you see that in that case, in this way, oaths are more stringent than vows. But the Gemara wants to make a diuk and say, well, stringent seems to be a relative kind of thing, meaning for one thing to be more stringent than the other, it means that one thing is a little bit stringent, but the other thing is more stringent. But that doesn't seem to be the case over here by the vows, because by the vows we're saying it's completely mutter. It's not, there's no stringency whatsoever, it's permitted. So therefore, that's what the Gemara is asking, chomer michlal de nederu. If we're going to say that in this way, oaths are more stringent than vows, and that implies that at least the vow is a valid vow, just that the oaths are more stringent. But ve'amuter katani, but the Mishnah doesn't say that it's a valid vow. It says that by all these korban things, right? Korban lo ochel lecha, korban she ochel lecha, lo korban lo ochel lecha. We're saying mutter, they're completely permitted. So asifa deidach bavakoi. No, it's referring to the cases prior about the sleeping stuff. Shvua she'eni yoshin, she'eni medaber, she'eni mahalich. We said that if a fellow makes an oath that he's not going to sleep, he's not going to speak, he's not going to walk, aser, so then it is aser, zechom b'shvuas mi b'nedarim, and that is more stringent by oaths than by vows. Because we saw Ravina's opinion yesterday, that even though midoraise, if you make a neder against, right, that you're not going to sleep, it doesn't count midoraisa, because there has to be an object, but midarabanan it would count. So therefore we're saying that when it comes to vows about sleep, so it's only also midarabanan, whereas by oaths they would be also midoraisa. Okay. Chomer b'nedarim mibashvuas keitzad v'chulei. So now, in what way are vows more stringent than oaths? Rav Kahana Masni Amar Rav Gidel Amar Rav, Rav Tavyomi Masni Amar Rav Gidel Amar Shmuel. Okay, so there's differing opinions if Rav Gidel is quoting Rav or Shmuel. Minayin shenishbayin lavar ala mitzvahs. How do we know that you do not make oaths to violate mitzvahs? Tabulomar lo yochol dvaro. That it says he shouldn't violate his word. Dvaro lo yochol. That if you make an oath against your own stuff, right? I'm not going to eat pizza, the seder, but you can't say I'm not going to do a mitzvah. That you cannot do. Ma'ishna neder. But one second, how come a neder we're saying that you can make a vow against doing a mitzvah, but not an oath? Because the pasuk says Ish ki yidur neder la Hashem lo yachol devaro. That if a fellow makes a neder to God, then he shouldn't violate it. So even if it's something related to God, even if it's a mitzvah. So Shvuah Nami Oksib, but it says by Shvuah in that same pasuk, O Yishava Shvuah La Hashem. Okay, La Hashem or Yishava Shvuah. But the pasuk says also La Hashem in the context of oaths. So I should think that oaths would apply to mitzvahs as well. Lo Yachol Dvar, and you shouldn't violate his word. So Rabbi, or the Amr Hano Asuka, Allah, or the Amr Shvuah Shlo Enem in Asuka. So Rava says, yeah, but the nature of vows are different than the nature of oaths. As we've learned, a vow is about the chefza, and a shvuah is about the gavra. A vow is about the sukkah. A shvuah, an oath, is about the person. So when it comes to a sukkah, let's say, so if it's a vow, so what you're saying is, look, I built this gorgeous sukkah, but I'm saying I'm not going to get any benefit from it. Okay, so you see, he makes a vow, he's not going to get any benefit from it. So Mimela, so it's the sukkah he's not going to get benefit from. So Mimela, he doesn't go into the sukkah, and he doesn't, right, and the vow still applies. But by an oath, however, what's he saying? He's saying, I'm not going to be Mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. I'm not going to go into the sukkah. Well, he can't just make up rules for himself. The Torah says he's got to sit in the sukkah. He can't just say, I'm not going to sit in the sukkah. So therefore, by a vow it applies because it's kind of passive. Right? He's not saying, I'm not going in the sukkah. He's saying, look, I built a beautiful sukkah. I'm not going to get any benefit from it. Oh, if you're not going to get any benefit from it, so Memela, don't go into it. But by an oath, it would be saying, I'm not going to be Mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. You can't do that. Right? So again, so Amar Abaye, the nature of it is very different. By a vow, he's saying that I'm not going to get benefit from the sukkah. Whereas by an oath, he's saying, I'm swearing that I am not going to give to benefit from the sukkah. It's about him, and he can't do that. There's a mitzvah, he's got to sit in the sukkah. In fact, Rava says, what do you mean? By what? He's saying I'm not going to get benefit from the sukkah, therefore he can't sit in the sukkah. Mitzvahs lav le'onus nitnu. You don't get, maker a din, you don't get benefit from mitzvahs. You do a mitzvah because you do the mitzvah regardless of the benefit that you get from it. So even if you said you're not going to get benefit from the sukkah, sit in the sukkah nonetheless to be mekayim the mitzvah. Forget about the benefit. Don't get any benefit from it. Mitzvahs lav le'onus nitnu. Mitzvahs aren't given to get benefit from; they're given to do. So go and sit in the sukkah and don't get benefit. So Amar Rava rather says Rava Amar Yeshivas Sukkah Olai. No, so Rava says no. By the vow, you're saying that right. I'm not going to, right. That the sitting in the sukkah is forbidden to me. Okay, so you can't sit in the sukkah. Right? It's not saying I'm not going to sit in the sukkah. It's saying that the sitting in the sukkah is something that is forbidden to me. So he can't sit in the sukkah. Whereas an oath would be I am not going to sit in the sukkah. He can't decide that he's not going to sit in the sukkah. There's a mitzvah to sit in the sukkah. He can't violate that. One second. When we say that you can't make an oath to violate a mitzvah, that comes from this pasuk of lo yachol dvaro, right? Dvaro lo yachol mechel chavtze shemayim. We learn it from there. We learn it from the following place. The Tanya we learn about so yachol nishba levatel sa mitzvah V'lo bitel, if a fellow made an oath to be mevatel, to nullify a mitzvah, but he didn't end up nullifying it, he did the mitzvah. Yachol yechayev, should he be chayev? Tamlomer loharo lehetiv. It says by Shavuos to do bad or to do good. Mahatov rishus afaro rishus. Just like to do good is we're talking about something optional that he's making an oath about. So also something negative, right? To violate something, that's talking about something that's optional, right? That's volitional. That's a rishus, not a mitzvah. Yotze nishba levatos a mitzvah v'lo bita she'en rishus biyado. To the exclusion of somebody who makes an oath against being doing a mitzvah. You can't do that. So we seem to have, I don't understand, we seem to be learning out from two different places that you can't make an oath against doing a mitzvah. So chad kol l'miftrei mi korban shvua, v'chad l'miftrei min lav d'shvua. So we say, well, we need the two psukim because one of them is saying that if you make an oath against doing a mitzvah, you do not need to bring a korban shvua, you do not need to bring a korban for violating the oath, because there was no oath. And the second one is that you don't get lashes for violating l'yachol dvaro, because there was no oath, so you don't get lashes there either. Friends, that was after Zion of Masechta Nedarim. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.